and Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we will present cleanliness. When does it become haram? So this is our group member, which is Cik Muhammad Atif, Ilyana Batrisha, Nur Aini and Rosnabiha Hanis.
Introduction. The meaning of cleanliness is the state of being clean or the habits of keeping things clean. Even though genetically modified food give benefit to our food technology improvement, it does not mean that it's halal. The lack of hygiene in food manufacturing can cause foodborne illness for the people and can be the cause of death.
So when it does become haram? First of all, changing the genetic structure of living organisms from animals to plants. Secondly, no quality in handling food according to Islam. Next, method of handling food in Islam. Last but not least, manufacturing does not practice sanitation and personal hygiene. First of all, changing in the genetic structure of living organisms from animals to plants. This is the one of the most challenging biotechnology application involving the exploitation of animal and the transfer of DNA from animals to plants. Recent advances in the food sector have prompted scientists to create crops with higher nutritional value genes. As long as the origination animals is halal, this transformation will be considered halal. There is a contentious disagreement among Muslim academics when the source animals is not halal. First example is changing crop for millennial. Not only modifying genetic structure crucial for halal, but cleanliness considerations are also a priority must be tackled. For example, farmers have been changing crop for millennial. They provide new and desirable attribute to improve the flavor, color or fragrance of the food while eliminating undesirable traits. All of this has been accomplished by standard breeding techniques such as selective breeding and artificial crossbreeding of plants within a species. It introduced a new feature into plants and animals by removing a certain gene from one creature, which is a plant or animal, and pasting it into another. For the second example is the presence of swine's DNA in soil render it haram for Muslim. The oil or any item extracted and manufactured from such transgenic soil will either be haram or masbuh. Thus, Muslim consumers should avoid it. When no substitution in present, the halal animals' gene can be changed as the product changes, and when grown into soil by various chemical changes, the status of gene changes as well. However, this should be only done in extreme and desperate circumstances.
The next point is no quality in handling food according to Islam. Throughout the process of handling food from the farm to the table, numerous problems arise. It begins with the process of acquiring raw material, preparing ingredients, processing, storing, transporting, and also serving. For instance, the prepared food should be highlighted from our point of origin through the preparation process and served to the table of consumer in accordance with the policy of halal, safe, and nutritious. It is also devoid of cross-contamination from allergens as well as unlawful element, chemical, physical, and biological pollution. Food handling quality of Islam has its own level or group, with no food handling quality of Islam in the entire food manufacturing process, then it make the food is not guaranteed halal. Processing and handling of the product constitute the first stage. The product or its contain element of animal product that are not halal under Sharia law and that were not killed in accordance with Sharia law. Using cochineal dyes in one example, an insect special called cochineal in use frequently in food coloring. Cochineal is a non-bleeding insect However, its carcass is unclean and not halal to consume. Authorities, including a team of research from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, Michigan, USA, claim that the cochineal insecticides added to confectionery yogurt and fruit beverage can result in number of hazardous ailments. The level of processing tools, equipment, machinery, and aids come next. Any material deemed unclean by Sharia law is used or contained in the processing tools, utensils, machinery, and equipment used to process halal food. For instance, some water filters add calcium to the water by using animal bones that have been converted into bioceramic. There are questions about the types of bone used and how they are collected, including whether the animal were appropriately slaughtered or not. The majority of activated carbon made from animal bones is produced in China. Therefore, it is the best to refrain from purchasing meat-based items made in other countries if their halal certification is in question. The final one is how items, display, and dishes are stored. Storing food that is both halal and non-halal. As an illustration, there is a case where the food delivery rider combines halal and non-halal food together while delivering the food. This may use uncertainty over the food halal status to avoid being mixed up or contaminated with non-halal items. All halal food that is stored, exhibited, sold, or served should be designated as halal and separate at every stage.
Islam emphasizes clean living among its followers. Islam lays a significant focus on food, wholesomeness, especially how it's prepared and served. When meals are made safely, they are pure. After using a restroom, wash hands and with antibacterial liquid soap. When washing your hand, focus on the space between the fingers, the tips, the fingernails, and the thumbs, and also the wrists. Many food workers do not wash their hands after using the restroom. This will increase the danger of bacteria spreading to the food. Those who eat tend for risk for illness. Workers in the food industry are required to clean and disinfect every piece of equipment and utensil. This procedure is essential in order to prevent the formation of microorganisms on the utensil. Immediately following each usage, the utensils are supposed to be rinsed. If utensils are left in the sink for an extended period of time, wet areas provide ideal conditions for the rapid reproduction of microorganisms. Second, if you must keep uncooked items away from cooked ones, in order to prevent the spread of disease, food must be kept in their own individual container at all times. Workers in the food industry are required to utilize only clean or brand new equipment. Microorganisms that might cause illness are found in food including raw meat, poultry, and shellfish. It is possible for raw food to transfer disease-causing microorganisms to their cooked counterpart. So next, marking fresh meat and vegetables with label might facilitate easier food handling. Raw meat includes things like fish, cattle, and chicken. The water and the raw ingredients used in the food must be clean. In order to properly prepare food, you will need to use potable water and ingredients that have not been cooked. Water and food that are safe to eat and drink do not have dangerous germs or toxic chemicals present in concentration that could be harmful to a person's health. Before being consumed, uncooked fruit and vegetables need to be washed very thoroughly. When combined with careful selection of raw material, practice such as washing and peeling can help reduce the likelihood of contracting an infection or disease. According to Islamic law, it is forbidden to use material for packaging that include compounds that are hazardous of the human health. The study of halal logistics is gaining attention in both the business world and the academic world. In order to accomplish this goal, the World Health Organization (WHO) suggests using particular approach that manage of the food. Prepare the food in a clean and sanitary environment as a first step in order to avoid spreading bacteria. Everybody who comes into contact with food should wash their hands thoroughly both before and after preparing it. Hands must be washed before handling food. Identify food as GMH is just as important as labeling food as halal in our country. Since of this, our life as customer are going to change because the benefit and drawback of food are going to be examined alongside its halal certifications.
Lastly, my point is, the genetic manufacturing foods become haram when the manufacturing does not practice sanitation and personal hygiene. Halal is very specific in the practice of keeping ourselves clean, mostly in food matters, to prevent any disease. If we can see, the good manufacturing practice system and good hygiene practice system have the same objective as halal. That means good manufacturing practice GMP and GHP is support the mission of halal in keeps the manufacturing clean. And then the genetic manufacturing foods become haram when the process of making the food does not meet sanitation and personal hygiene requirements. Safe foods does not have any harmful things such as biological hazard, chemical hazard, and physical hazard.
For the conclusion, in Islam, hygiene and cleanliness are highly valued, and this encompasses all aspects of personal hygiene, attire, equipment, and the premise where food is produced and cooked.